The title of this audio file is Selfishness. You know, uh, selfishness is a word that is used to describe someone who only does things for himself. And the inference that people take from this word is that you should not very often do things for yourself, or a somewhat clever person would say that you should take care of yourself first and then help others, or that put your own air mask first if you're on a plane, and once you have secured yourself, then help others. And the reason they say, as in society says, to be selfless and to help others, ironically, is to also feel good about oneself, that I have helped others, hence I am a good person because I helped them. So, even that, in fact, is for yourself, which is in fact selfish. So, everything from corporate social responsibility to giving charity to helping people who are poor, uh, is actually done for your own gratification because you feel good when you do that for them. Um, and if, let's say, you were to give money to a poor person begging on the side of the street who came to your car next to you and begged you for money, and you gave 10 rupees, and if he said, "That's it, what will I buy from 10 rupees? At least give me 50." Not only will you not give him 40 rupees extra, but you would be discouraged from giving him the 10 rupees. In fact, you would want to take it back, because what you would say selfishly is that I would rather give this 10 rupees to someone who's, quote, grateful for those 10 rupees. And the reason I want to help the other person who would be, quote, grateful in the form of him saying you a thank you is because you want to feel good uh, when you get a thank you from a beggar that you have helped him, um, and not feel bad when a person is not saying a thank you or giving you a pleasant gesture. So ultimately, if the selfish things that you do are for yourself and the selfless things that you do are for yourself, or this idea of give and take, the reason you're giving things, you're obliging people with pleasant gestures or good paragraphs or gifts, is also so that you may in return get a return gift, as they say, then that in fact is also selfish. So, the reason this notion of selflessness is given birth is because um, the person or the institution of people want to uh, take your belongings basically, and they cannot take it directly, but how they can take your resources is by telling you that the resources that you have uh, is more than what you need, And since that is shouted at from all loudspeakers of the world, you feel guilty and you have the compulsion to be selfless and give to others so that you can let go of your possessions. So, let's say, for example, if you ask yourself, why do I have to give away my money in the form of tax? Uh, Obviously, the government will come along and give you answers. Uh, and I'm again, once again, before the outraged mind thinks, oh, so you're saying you shouldn't give tax, or you're saying so you should evade tax, or you're saying that you should do this and that. That's an outraged mind. If you're outraged, it's better off you don't listen to what I'm saying and just leave. So, ironically, if everyone was selfish, uh, and everyone in certain terms knew that they are in fact selfish, which is the reality, and the idea of trying to help someone is also selfish at the end of the day, everyone, upon knowing the fact that everyone is doing things for themselves, they would know uh, the source of everyone's actions, and they would not be blindsided by the person who pretends to care about another. Because where you are blindsided is where you will get fucked. Um, and it just so happens all government institutions, religions, businesses, uh, say fancy notions that we are doing this for the common good. We are doing this for the common people. We are doing this because we want to, quote, help others. But if that did not make them feel good, they would not really do it for others. So when they do for others, they're also doing it for themselves. But because the common human being does not see this fact, he does buy into the illusion that selfless acts do exist. People, there are in fact good people who truly do it without expecting something in return, uh, in the form of a thank you or a good gesture. Um, and that is quite frankly where the problems arise. Because when I do a so called selfless act, let's say I try to help someone get rid of their problems. Um, so if I see someone crying in a room for whatever reason, or if I see someone walking on the street with their head downwards with a frown on their face, if I try to help them because I want to be selfless, what I'm basically doing is first uh, making the assumption that they in fact need help, and that assumption comes from your own illusion that when I am sad, I usually go out to seek for people to take a dose of pleasure. So I am uh, assuming that this guy who is also sad, or this person who is in the room crying, must also need help. So let me first go inside their room and first let me talk to that person and try to help them because help is obviously needed. So when you go into this preempt assumption that others need help, what you are doing is projecting situations where you wanted help and you think that it is universal and applies to everyone. Uh, and when, let's say, for whatever reason, the other person does not need your help, he says, no, I'm good, please don't disturb me. So let's say the person who has a frown on his face, who's walking, when you, from this assumption, go to him to try to help him and he pushes you away, you feel bad एंड इंटरनली विल से अरे कितना अनग्रेटफुल आदमी है, हेल्प भी नहीं चाहिए, मैं तो हेल्प करने आया था. You went there with the assumption that he needs help, and when he said he did not need help, you got sad, and then you lash out on him, and then you guys will fight. So in the entire exchange, if you were purely selfish, and the fun fact is, being purely selfish is actually very honest, because you would have then gone up to the person and said, "Listen, buddy, I want to gain a dose of pleasure for myself." एंड मैंने ये देखा है, जब मैं सैड होता हूँ मेरे को कोई आदमी चाहिए होता है मेरे को कंसोल करने के लिए. आई एम अज्यूमिंग तेरे को भी यही चाहिए, तो मेरे को बता, क्या तेरे को क्या मैं तेरे को हेल्प कर सकता हूँ, क्योंकि मेरा सोर्स ऑफ हेल्पिंग यू इज सो दैट आई फील गुड. If he says yes, then you can take a dose of pleasure from him. If he says no, you won't be affected by it, because you already disclose to yourself and to him that it is in fact selfish. But the society and its loudspeakers and its mass conditioning that has brainwashed human beings into believing that there is such a thing called a selfless act might be one of the biggest problems, out of the plethora of problems that it creates. So, if you think you're selfish and it's bad, and being selfless is good, all I'll say is good luck.